Okay, so in the first problem, we had two equations and two variables, x and y. This time, though, we have three equations and three variables. However, we're going to use the same process of elimination or addition. Again, you could go with substitution, but it's going to be a lot harder. Okay, so let's not go that way. Um, it doesn't really matter which variable you decide to eliminate, but you'll have to do it twice so that you get two equations with two of the same variables, okay? Now, I chose y. Why? Just because. Okay, so I said I'm going to do y because I liked the 2y and the negative y, and I thought, well, that'll be easy to eliminate. So if I multiply this top equation by 2, see, what's going to happen is I'm going to get that negative 2y there, and that's going to eliminate with a positive 2y. So I'm using the top two equations. Multiplying by 2, I'm going to get 4x minus 2y plus 4z equals negative 16. Now, it's really hard to do multiplying by 2, but you do have to remember to multiply each term by the 2. Okay, sometimes we forget. The next equation, I'm just going to copy that down. X plus 2y minus 3z equals 9. Okay, now when I add these together, the negative 2y and the positive 2y eliminate. Yay. Okay, 4x and x make 5x. And then 4z and negative 3z makes plus z. 4 minus 3 is 1. All right. And this equals a negative 16 and 9, which is negative 7. Okay, that is an xz equation. Yay. Okay, there's no y's in it. But now, and here's where it gets a little tricky to write, I'm going to take that middle equation, x plus 2y minus 3z equals 9, and then I'm going to take the bottom equation, 3x minus y minus 4z equals 3. I have to make sure I take two different equations. Now, if you're like, well, I don't want to use the middle one, I was going to use the top one and the bottom one, that would work too. And maybe that's better, but I just went this way. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this bottom equation by 2 because, again, I'm going to get the 2y and the negative 2y canceling out. It's going to be great. Okay, the top equation just gets copied. So on systems of equations, there's a lot of copy work, and you have to be really careful because you know if you write the wrong number down, it'll be a problem. Okay, so now I'm multiplying by 2 in the bottom equation. 6x minus 2y minus 8z equals 6. Okay, double check your multiplying just to make sure. That's always a good idea. Okay, so now let's add x plus 6x, 7x. These cancel. Negative 3z and negative 8z is negative 11z. And then 9 and 6 make 15. Okay, so I have two equations. I have this equation that has an x and a z, and I have this new equation right here that has an x and a z. So somewhere I need more space. Okay, 5x plus z equals, was it negative 7? Negative 7. And then the other equation, 7x minus 11z equals 15. Now, this is really back to the first problem we did on the quiz. It's two equations with two variables. Okay, so I could multiply, probably the easiest way to do it is multiply the top equation by 11, because I can see I'm going to get that 11z with the negative 11z. Those are going to cancel out. Yay. Okay, and then we have to have a lot of faith in math that this is all going to work out. So 11 times 5 is 55x, kind of a big number, but that's so we can avoid fractions. That's why we get these big numbers. Plus 11z equals negative 77. And then the bottom equation, 7x minus 11z equals 15. So when I add these equations together, let's see, 55x and 7x, what's that, 62x? Kind of a big number, but I'm not worried, I have faith. Okay, the 11z and the minus 11z, those cancel out, equals, and then what's negative 77 plus 15? I need to find the difference there, it's going to be minus 62. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so divide by 62. and I get x equals -1. Okay, so I have found a variable. Yay, it's a lot of work to get the first one, but I got it. I got it. Okay, now I have to find, the easiest one to find is going to be z because I have x, z equations. So I'm going to take, let's see, I'll switch colors. Maybe that'll help. I'm going to take this equation right here and I'm going to plug in a -1 for x. So that's 7 times -1 minus 11z equals 15. I'm going to do some math. -7 minus 11z equals 15. I'll add the 7. And, do I have any problems here? I wasn't thinking I did. Oh, okay. It's all going to work out. So -11z, I was panicking. 15 and 7 is 22. Okay, yeah, that's cool because 11 goes into 22. They don't have to come out to be integers. It just makes us feel better. Okay, and so we divided by a -11 and we get z equals -2. So I have a z, I have the x. Now I got to find a y. The only way to find a y is to go to an equation that has y in it. So I'm going to go back to the other marker because it seems to write better. Okay, so where's an equation? Any of the originals will work. I think I'll take that middle equation. We used that a lot. So it was, I'm going to write it down here, x plus 2y minus 3z equals 9. Now I know this is messy and it's kind of all over, but I can follow this when you're writing the work. I can see what you're doing, okay? So you probably have a better way to make it neater, but this works for me. Okay, putting in a -1 for x. I don't know what y is, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I do know what z is, it's -2. And then I have to do some math. So -1 plus 2y plus 6 equals 9. So 2y plus 5, combining the -1 and the 6, equals 9. Subtract the 5. 2y equals 4. Divide by 2. Y equals 2. Okay, we're going to write our answer as an ordered triple. It will go x, comma, y, comma, z, like this, okay? But we're going to put the numbers in because we figured them out. So it's -1, and then 2, or y was 2, and z was -2. And so that was the answer. Now, you're doing this for your exam and you're like, oh man, what if it's wrong? I want to make sure it's right. You could go to one of the other equations. I wouldn't use the one you just used, the middle one. I'd pick something else. So let's say I want this one. I'm going to have to remember that. 3x minus y minus 4z equals 3. Oh, no, I wrote it wrong. Not the 4y minus y equals 3. And no, I didn't remember. I have it written down. I'm just cheating and looking at my paper. Okay, I can check. This is just a check to see if it's right. So let's go 3 times -1 minus 2 minus 4 times -2. And if that turns out to be 3, then we're going to feel pretty good. Okay, so you get a -3 minus 2 plus 8 equals 3. Looks good. -5 plus 8, is that 3? Yes. Okay, so that is a smiley face that checks. You could go to the other equation and check that one too, but I'm pleased. It worked for 2 of the equations, so I'm going to say that's good. Okay, so that one's a long problem. I understand that, but important that we can see that work. Okay.